Interesting enough, mushrooms are a good source of four micronutrients. And I wrote a paper about this a couple of years ago. I don't know if you've seen it. It was in Nutrition Today about four micronutrients that are in mushrooms. And the first one that we got interested in was selenium.
Hmm.
And mushrooms are a good source of selenium depending on the substrate they're grown on. And we did a lot of work on that. We also showed how you could enrich them with selenium. And then we got interested in vitamin D, did a lot of work with that. I thought that would really catch on because there was all kinds of information that people were deficient and all this kind of thing. And we actually developed a process with pulsed UV light that we could produce 100% of the daily value of vitamin D2 in mushrooms within 1 second of a pass under these lamps. And Penn State has a patent on it. And my graduate student that did a lot of the work, and myself were the author. So did a lot of work on that, but it never caught on. The industry never, for a while they picked it up, and they basically told me, Bob, nobody's willing to pay for this. We can't get any extra to cover our extra costs, but there's still some people doing it. But then I thought when this whole COVID thing hit, and it's been shown pretty conclusively that your vitamin D level can really have an influence on preventing you from getting it or the effects of it. I thought, man, this industry will jump on this. Well, they haven't. But then the ergothioneine thing hit when the colleague I mentioned that's on campus that still has a lab sent me an email one day, and he said, he was working on bacterial amino acid metabolism. And he working mainly on histidine. And he said, when I was doing my work, I found this compound called ergothioneine, which is like a histidine derivative. And, it's a very potent antioxidant. I'm interested in it. I'm looking for somebody to collaborate with. By the way, it's primarily made by fungi. So you're working with mushrooms, I bet it's in there. So I had a graduate student at the time who wanted to do something with functional foods. So Joy DuBois, I put her on that project. And indeed, we did the first work to show that mushrooms are by far the highest food containing amount of ergothioneine. But in the meantime, we also got interested in glutathione, which is the master antioxidant in almost all living systems depend on glutathione to protect us from oxidative stress. I actually ran into Dr. Ritchie at a conference in Amsterdam. And here we are at the same institution, but 90 miles apart. Neither one of us knew each other. So I was talking about ergothioneine, and he came to me at coffee break and he said, I've been interested in that for a long time. He said, turns out he was an expert on glutathione, did a lot of work on that. So we decided to look and do a study on to see mushrooms are a good source of both, and indeed they are, probably the best source of those two antioxidants. And we're pretty sure there's an interaction there between the two, probably very, very important. We haven't been able to unravel that yet. So those are the four micronutrients that are in mushrooms that we have an interest in.